What's going on, Eurovoxers? Hello, Jess. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Today we're talking Denmark and Dansk Melodi Grand Prix. I know that this is one that you're quite excited about. It was actually the first one that you mentioned when I said that I was looking for people to talk about the various national finals for this weekend. So I'm sure that you're excited.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've heard all the songs and I actually really like the sound of a lot of them, which I think is where my excitement is coming from. So, yeah.
Wonderful. So let's talk about it. So let's dive right into these. First and foremost, we have Ben and Tan with the song Yes. This seems to be quite the fan favorite at the moment. It's leading the odds. It's appeared on a lot of people's top lists. Jess, how are you feeling about Ben and Tan?
Well, surprise, surprise, it's my favorite.
Ah.
So, yeah, I can definitely see where the fan favorite thing comes into this. I think from all of the songs from this year's Dansk Melodi Grand Prix, it to me it sounds like the most or one of the most current and kind of modern sounding songs. It's this very kind of upbeat, slightly maybe cheesy song, which is probably why I like it. And it just, in my opinion, it has everything to get Denmark in the top 10 in Rotterdam. That's what I'm thinking with this song.
I have to agree with you. I think that there's just a lot in this that feels powerful and the kind of power that does well at Eurovision. To me, it's just great pop music. And admittedly, when I heard it for the first time when they were doing the earlier selection back in January to get the 5 artists via the online selection, I wasn't completely sold on it, but I did recognize that it was like a contender among those 10 songs that they had. But after listening to it a few more times, I just really feel like this is great pop music. It's got the power, it's got the impact.
Yeah.
It's infectious. It really, really is. And so this is a song that I'm certainly saying yes to. This next song I find quite hard to categorize because it's got a lot of different genres in the mix. I feel like it's a little bit roots, a little bit pop, and it's got some 80s synths going on in there. It's Benjamin Kissy with Faith.
You got to have faith, faith in your mother, faith in your brother, have faith, faith in each other. You got to have faith.
So Jess, your thoughts on this song?
So I'm not loving this song very much. I mean, I'm not hating it either, but the style of the song just doesn't really appeal to my personal tastes very much. And I think that's probably why I don't like it. But aside from that, I can see and hear that it is a good kind of strong song. And it's, like you mentioned, it's this kind of 80s synthy, poppy, kind of funky track that kind of is like a mix of many different things that probably shouldn't work, but in a way kind of does. I don't think it's a winner, but I think it could still do very well in the contest.
Yeah, I really want to echo a lot of the things that you said. I do quite like the mix of genres. I think that it's one of the things that helps it stand out. I can't say that I really connect with what's being said in the lyrics, but I think that my mind could change if I see it live. If it brings another element to it that I think completes it, then this could change my mind, I think. All right, so this one is certainly challenging my language skills. So this is Emil with the song that translates to I Wish I Had Known You.
For jeg længes efter svar, kan du mon se mig oppefra? Føler at du stadig her, et sted i mig, men verden væltede på din vej.
So this is one of the songs in this selection that has a bit more of an unplugged feel. Jess, how do you feel about Emil's song?
I actually really like Emil's song. And currently, I'm predicting this could be a potential dark horse for the win. I think it's a lovely, sweet kind of little song. It's very catchy. It's got a nice kind of vibe to it. And it's just like a kind of feel-good, happy song, in my opinion, but not in a poppy up-tempo way, in a more kind of chilled back, relaxed kind of way. And it's really, for me, it's really pleasant to listen to. And I really love it.
I think it's pleasant as well. I just wanted to know a little bit more because obviously the title is really long and in Danish, so I didn't really know where to begin with it. So I looked up the lyrics online and to get a better sense of what this song is about. And because the title translates to "I wish I had known you," when you look into the lyrics, it actually has a bit more of a softer, bittersweet message. It seems it seems like Emil is singing about somebody who either passed away or left him early in his life, and is singing about, I wish that I had that opportunity to know the person that you are. So I think that it certainly feels heartfelt. Again, I think in this case, it's something that I need to see on stage before I really decide how I feel about it. But nonetheless, I think it's quite pleasing overall. So, this could be a surprise. I hope that it is a dark horse, as you say. Up next, we have the song by Isam with the song Bulgar.
Jeg har altid været mig selv. Hvad er farvandet end det sted? Lysets bølger mødes. Jeg har altid været mig selv.
So Jess, this is another song that's sung in Danish. How do you feel about this one?
So when I first heard it, I wasn't immediately kind of loving the song, and it wasn't one I really remembered after listening to it. It's taken me quite a couple of listens to really get into this song, which I'm not sure is a bad thing or a good thing, I don't know. But I like the song, but I don't love the song. It's a very kind of simple kind of song, like I can't think of the words. Like, there's nothing too exciting about the song, nothing that kind of grabs you. It doesn't really elevate anywhere or go anywhere. It just kind of stays on the same level. Mm-hmm. So it's very pleasant to listen to. It's a lovely song, lovely singer. It's just, for my personal taste, it's a little bit on the boring side.
Yeah, it seems like it doesn't have an area where it really kind of picks up and that moment that makes you remember it towards the end of it. But this could be kind of a nice song to hear in between some of the rest. I have to say that I do really like his voice. I think it's quite distinctive, and he does some really nice high notes at the end. So again, this could be something that really changes when you see it live. But nonetheless, probably not one that's going to win. But we wish him all the best.
Yeah.
So up next, we have another one that was selected earlier back in January. This is Jamie Talbot with his song Bye Bye Heaven.
Bye bye heaven, I'm heading for trouble, I'm sure. Bye bye heaven, she's 7 sins and I want more.
Jess, this is definitely one of the radio-friendly pop songs that we see in this selection. How do you feel about it?
Oh yeah, for sure. It kind of, in a way, reminds me of the UK song this year, where you've got this sort of very, very radio-friendly song that's like very heavy on the guitar and stuff, and it's in my opinion, a similar kind of style. But no bias here, but I think our song is better than this one. I'm not loving Jamie's song, but I'm not hating it either, like I've said with a lot of songs. I like it. I think it's good. I love kind of the tone and the sound of his voice. It suits this style of song perfectly. But again, it's nothing majorly stand out, and I think it's going to struggle among some of the more bigger popular songs in this year's contest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to say I like the beat of it. I like that it kind of lands in a mid-tempo area, and it certainly does remind me of the UK's entry for this year as well. I just feel like it needs to be picked up a little bit by the third chorus, because otherwise it tends to level off and not really take us further than I think it needs to. But nonetheless, I think that this probably won't do terribly. I think that people will certainly appreciate this one. And yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Next, we have one that certainly stands out from the rest for being of a completely different genre. This is Jasmine Rose featuring Roxer Loops with the song Human. So Jess, I have to ask, are you a trance fan?
Generally, no. But this song I really, really like. and it's currently sitting in my second place behind Ben and Tan. But with this song, I kind of get like a slightly, maybe like Oriental, Middle Eastern kind of vibe to this song. I don't know if anyone else kind of hears that, but I think that's what makes it stand out, is that you've got this kind of very current, modern sounding, kind of like pop song, but then it's got different elements from something that's not typically pop, which is, it's a very interesting mix, and it works very, very well in this song. And I'm just really hoping and praying with all my heart that they have like a good staging that can kind of accommodate the more poppy commercial side of the song, but also the kind of Eastern influences as well. And I think, along with Ben and Tan, I think this will be a potential winner and will definitely be up there at the top somewhere.
I see this as the second place in a lot of people's top lists. So I think that it's certainly being recognized. I agree with you in the sense that there is a big question as to how this will show up live. It's got a really nice vocal hook. I understand what you've also said about having kind of like a Middle Eastern sound to it with the synth hook. The only thing for me is that I don't feel like the key change is necessary. I feel like it should be kept in one of the two keys, and I actually prefer the higher of the two, because then it just makes it a little bit more pop than and it doesn't help it stand out as much, but at least it's of a different genre, a little bit trancey, not totally, but one that for someone who used to be like all about that music is one that I recognize. This next one is another one that was selected back in January. It's Kenny with his song Forget It All.
When I'm with you, I forget it all. I forget it. I forget it all. I forget it. When I'm with you, I forget it all. I forget it.
Jess, how are you feeling about Kenny's song?
I'm going to say the same phrase I've said a million times in this video. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I like it. I find it very kind of middle of the road, similar to other songs that we have in this year's contest. It's kind of got this, it's like a guitar sound. It's very kind of mid-tempo, maybe slightly likening it to the UK's entry again. It's a man with a great voice that suits the song very well, but the song again, for me, doesn't go really anywhere very exciting. It just kind of stays on the same level, but it is very pleasant to listen to. And like with this song and with a lot of the other songs that are similar to this, the staging could change everything and it could really come to life on stage. So I could be proven wrong, who knows?
Well, I think that the production certainly has some cool elements. Like it's got a breakbeat to it. It has a little bit of a 90s indie rock flavor. I agree with you that it doesn't, I also don't like it, but don't hate it. I think that there is certainly something to be said about the chorus because it is really catchy.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not it's enough to be the favorite or to win, I'm not too sure. So I guess we'll have to see what it looks like on stage. So if I try to say this one, we're going to be here all night. But basically, this is Maya and her other collaborator with a song that translates to The Only Goth in Veil.
Dengang du lyttede til The Smiths Og lidt The Cure og lidt Nirvana Var du den eneste goth i Vejle med et miles.
So Jess, how do you feel about this song that's about a goth?
Well, do you know what? I didn't actually realise that they were singing about a goth. And when I saw the word goth come up, I was assuming it was one of their names because I just saw a whole long thing in Danish and couldn't work out what was the name, what was the song title. But anyway, I actually quite like this one in a surprising way. It sounds very different to all of the other songs in this year's contest. It's kind of got its own thing going on. It's got its own vibe going on. It's not kind of your typical pop song or your typical radio song. It's kind of, I don't really know how to describe it. It's just different. It's in a good way.
Yeah, it's like indie rock. It's understated indie rock, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think it has good visual potential, especially if they're going to be tapping into this goth theme. It could look really nice on stage, and that could help it. Again, because it's understated, I don't know if this is going to be one that people really, really resonate with. But I guess we'll just have to see. So up next, we have the last artist that was selected back in January through the online selection, and this is Sander Sanchez with his song Screens.
Looking at the bright lights feeding us a dream, staring at the screens, staring at the screens, staring at the screens, staring at the screens.
So Jess, are you feeling the message that's in this song?
Well, I do actually like Sander's song quite a lot. And it kind of, not so much, it kind of in a way reminds me of Bilal's song from Eurovision last year for some reason, and I'm not quite sure why, but it does. And I feel like if this song was to win and go to Eurovision, it would kind of have a similar result or a similar fate as what Bilal had. But the song, it's very kind of poppy, slightly cheesy, very kind of memorable, very catchy. And I'm sure that kind of from what I've seen of Sander Sanchez already, he's going to bring like an epic performance, and he's going to go all out. It's going to be all over the top, I think, which I think would definitely help it to stand out. But I kind of think that, I have a feeling that the staging could potentially be better than the song itself, maybe.
Yeah, that's a possibility because, you know, the message in the song is quite clear, especially you can kind of get a sense of what it is even by just reading the title being Screens. So, you know, we're talking about technology and people getting absorbed by their technology and not seeing the world around them. I have to say it's not really my thing. I feel like the subject matter, it's not handled in a very subtle way. It's kind of right in front of you. But I do really like the timbre in his voice. So this could be a really enjoyable performance despite feelings about the song. And yeah, I think the staging is going to be a question as well. It could help sell the message, but I could also see it maybe being overdone a little bit. Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens on Saturday. So last but not least, we have Sis Pierre with her song Honestly.
Honestly, what have we got to lose? We could choose to set us free. Trust in each other and not just the news. And what if we...
So Jess, as the final entry out of all 10 songs, where does this one land for you?
So I can't seem to make my mind up about this song because like the style of the song I find a little bit confusing, because when it first comes in, you've got these like strings and these violins being played that kind of give it a more like classical or almost anthemic feel. And then you've got this kind of funky, slightly jazzy kind of beat that comes in. And then the strings come in again, and they've kind of mixed the two together, which I'm not 100% sure works, but then it kind of does work a little bit at the same time. And so I'm kind of thinking, well, I like this kind of classical anthemic kind of sound, but I don't like the jazzy funky sound. So I can't quite decide if I like this and if I think it works. But it's, I guess if I had to describe it, I'd say it's quite quirky and very different, very out there. And it's, I want to say kind of experimental, because the way they've mixed everything together is quite interesting. Not sure how it's going to work on stage, but it will definitely be an interesting one to watch out for.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's experimental, because I feel like I've heard songs that sound like this, but I love that it's got an indie pop vibe, and it's certainly bringing together instruments that don't always go together, like the strings, and I don't know if I heard horns in that, but I know that there's a little bit of guitar. It's a very subtle and understated guitar. And, you know, speaking of understated, this is another one that fits that category as well among some of the other ones. So the big question is whether or not this is going to stand out enough because of that. But in some selections, that's actually worked. Maybe not necessarily enough to win, but to get a good result. I believe that there are juries in this selection as well, so perhaps that could be a selling factor for them. Whether or not it will translate to the televote, I'm not sure. But nonetheless, I like the feel of this song. Maybe it just needs something to sell it on stage. All right, so before we go, we of course have to talk about who we think the winner is going to be. Jess, take it away.
The song that I really want to see winning is Yes by Ben and Tan. And the song that I think will win, I think that has a very strong chance of winning. I also think Emil could potentially be a dark horse, and also the duo. What were they called? Rose
Jasmine Rose and
somebody.
Roxer Loops.
Yeah, I think they could just sneak in a win. So I'm predicting either one of those three to win. Yeah.
I think that Yes is probably the best choice for Denmark in terms of, you know, thinking ahead to Eurovision. Right now, I really feel like the selection of songs at Eurovision is lacking something that is powerful and anthemic. Of course, there are other songs that are powerful, but not really in this way, not something that's this positive. So I think that it could be a really, really good chance for them. If it isn't Ben and Tan, then I could also see Jasmine Rose and Roxer Loops. But again, it really comes down to how that looks on stage, because I know that anything that has a bit of an EDM feel tends to struggle if it's not done in the right way. So I guess we'll have to see. But guys, let us know down in the comments which one you think is going to be the winner and which one is your favorite. Don't forget to reach out to us at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Eurovoxx.net is the website, and we'll catch up with you guys next time. Take care.
Bye.